former NBAer, champ with the Spurs, now a great broadcaster, full of energy for the OKC Thunder, Antonio Daniels, Fox Sports Oklahoma, is joining us. Let me start with J.R. Smith in the clock. Is there any excuse for it, in your opinion, Antonio?
Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you, Colin. A 14-year veteran like J.R. Smith, it's unacceptable to, one, not know your timeout situation, and two, not know the score. That can't happen, especially against a team that's as good, as polished as the Golden State Warriors. Like, watching that game, you almost can't believe that happened. You know, there are a lot of different things that you can look at. You can look at George Hill-Smith free throws. You can look at the referee's turns, block, overturn. But ultimately, this came down to a lack of focus by J.R. Smith, not understanding the magnitude of the moment and not calling a timeout one, or at least attempting a shot, trying to get something off, not knowing the score of the game. That did not happen. That's unacceptable at this time of the season.
Now, LeBron would not throw JR under a bus. Ty Lue was willing to. Can you overcome this kind of tumult and emotional, distraction? Because it looked like in overtime, LeBron didn't even want to pass the teammates. It was so ticked off. Is this the end of the series? Can you overcome this with a couple of days off?
Well, it depends on what you mean by overcome, Colin. If overcome you mean win the series, I think that's going to be very difficult. But I think it was very difficult before this series started for the Cleveland Cavaliers to actually beat the Golden State Warriors 4 times. Can you overcome it meaning, can you maybe get one at home? Yeah, you can overcome it that way. I feel like Golden State, this would go 6 games. I felt like this would definitely go 6 games. Last night was one of those games, though. So now I don't think it's going 6 anymore. I think last night it takes a lot out of you mentally.
Yeah.
It takes a lot out of you emotionally. It takes a lot out of you physically, especially LeBron James. So I feel like the one that they had to get last night to really give themselves a chance to really make this series competitive and to challenge the Golden State Warriors was last night, and they let it go.
I am not a big fan of taking a judgment call before technology, then going to technology
right,
and reversing a judgment call, because I'm still arguing about it in technology. I didn't like it. What do you make of it?
I tell you my issue with it, Colin. My issue was the fact that the call was overturned. I don't think anyone would have had an issue with it if a block was called from the beginning. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't have a dog in the fight here. I don't. I didn't think LeBron was in legal guarding position. He turned his shoulder. And you can move your feet, you can still be moving, but you have to take the charge square. The issue that I had was the fact it was overturned. But with saying all that, I do appreciate the fact that they use the replay for what it's there for. What bothers me more than anything else is when they have all of that technology and they still don't use it to get the call right.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get it. Last thing you want to see as a fan of the game is that. But they use the technology for what it's there for. You take your 3 referees, you go to some with all those televisions and all these other stuff that's going on, and you say, look, we have an opportunity to get this call right. Let's get it right. And as much as people hate to hear it, felt like they got it right.
I look at this dynasty, and not all dynasties are the same. And I look at this dynasty, and Kawhi didn't play a couple of times. Chris Paul got hurt this year. Boogie Cousins wasn't there. A couple years ago, Kevin Love and Kyrie get hurt, and they beat LeBron and Matthew Dellavedova in 6. And last night, they get an overturned ref call. Couldn't I argue this Golden State dynasty is their golden fate, not Golden State? They've gotten some real breaks in this dynasty.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, Colin, and you can go to any champion in any sport level, in NHL, Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA. Champions will tell you all teams get breaks along the way. All teams do. But your job is when you get those breaks, take advantage of it. And Golden State has. Because I get it. You hear all the time, Golden State is so lucky. This guy was hurt, and Chris Paul was hurt, and Kawhi Leonard was hurt, and Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love. But your job is not to worry about who's hurt. So what is Golden State supposed to say? Hey, you know what? Let's hold the series off until these guys get healthy. No. Your job is to go out there and beat them. And they've taken care of business when they had the opportunity to, regardless as to who was healthy or unhealthy on the opposing roster.
What did you make overall? I don't need to get into a greatest of all time argument, But LeBron's sheer size, we know LeBron's going to blow Michael away in like all the, personal stat stuff. We know he's probably going to get to more finals than LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
And we also know that physically, I mean, from the shoulders up, Antonio, he looks like he looks like a defensive end in the NFL. He's just a bigger, stronger athlete.
Right.
Last night was one of those times that I watched the game late, and that, because we all talk about the MJ thing, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if Michael could have done that. I mean, seriously, the last night may have been the best I've ever seen him play. What was your takeaway on LeBron's performance?
And I'm going to be honest with you, Colin, and I know this is going to spark a ton of debate, people talking about LeBron. To me, and I said this a while ago, LeBron is the best to lace them up, to me. He's the best to lace him up. I was blessed to play against Michael Jordan. I was blessed to play against LeBron James. Blessed to play against Kobe Bryant. LeBron James, and I'm not a creature of the moment. So it's not just about what he's doing now. It's not just about what he did against Indiana and what he did against Toronto and then what he did in 7 games against the Boston Celtics. It's his overall 15-year body of work. What he's doing right now is incredible. And on so many different levels, 15 years in, to play every game this season, every game this year, to lead the Cleveland Cavaliers in every major statistical category at age 33. If you look at where Dwayne Wade is now physically, if you look at where Carmelo Anthony is now physically, they came in with LeBron James. LeBron James is the only guy in that draft that is still trending in a healthy and right direction. The dude is flat out amazing and incredible. And like I said, Colin, I don't have a dog in the fight at all. But it hurt to see LeBron play a game like that and for it to come down to the last 2 minutes of a game, whether you want to point at J.R. Smith or George Hill or the officiating, and LeBron to not walk out of Oracle last night with a victory.
Finally, Antonio Daniels joining us, finally. LeBron planted these seeds before this series started. He talked to Rachel Nichols at ESPN, and he said, on air, I told him not to trade Kyrie. I told him not to fire David Griffin. And he called his owner, Dan Gilbert. He has a working relationship with him. Mm-hmm. 3 things. He planted a seed. It sounds like he's going to break up with somebody. Then last night, George Hill lets him down. Ty Lue lets him down, doesn't call a timeout. J.R. Smith lets him down. You think part of this last night that finally LeBron, because he can go anywhere now, everybody wants him.
Right.
Do you think that J.R. moment is the kind of thing that when you got the season ends, Antonio, you just can't get it out of your mind? It's the deal breaker. I can't even depend on my buddy J.R. Smith. Does that kind of play, is it the kind that gets into a player's head, and that could be the impetus for him to leave Cleveland?
You know what, Colin? I've always felt that LeBron wasn't leaving. I've said that from day one. I've never felt like LeBron was leaving. And obviously, I could be wrong. We could all be wrong. No one knows what LeBron's going to do. And I respect the fact that he has kept what he's planning on doing to himself and not talking about free agency publicly. But I've always felt like LeBron was staying. But last night has to sting. It has to sting. Not just because it was the best performance of his playoff career, but it's the fact that it's the best performance of your playoff career and you didn't walk out there with a victory. Because last night, they win game 1 and Golden State, that changes things.
Yeah.
That really, really changes things. And now you have a completely different mindset and mentality today after a loss than you would after a win last night. He deserved to win yesterday. They deserved to win yesterday.
Antonio, pleasure talking to you, bud. Appreciate you coming into the herd.
Anytime, Colin. Appreciate you, brother.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.